comes to talking sports, Bob Walters and Brett Grasso are the authority.
Can't wait.
When it comes to talking sports, they're the authority. It's Bob Walters and Brett Grasso. It's Locked Up Sports, and it starts now.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, yeah. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, hey.
Here we go. Bob Walters, Brett Grasso, from the Brian Gunzel Studios. This is Locked Up Sports NFL Sunday. Welcome to the show, everybody. Brett, what is up?
What's going on? No, man, I'm ready. NFL season getting started. Can't wait.
Week one is here. Listen, we've been waiting for this because the baseball season's been so terrible. And now we finally have football. We have tomorrow night, the Jets. I won't get to see it because I'm a Spectrum customer. But, Brett, you're the Jets fan. You're going to be watching it tonight. The Giants.
Yeah, it's great. I'm off all week, too, so I actually get to enjoy it at home.
Yeah, and listen, it's a whole new thing. Look at this setup we got, Brett. We're in separate places. I got the crawl going across the screen. Yep. I got the whole thing. I'm a full producer now.
We bring it all out for football. All out.
We redid the whole thing just for the NFL. All right, so now let's go. Let's start with college, though. Right? Let's start with college yesterday, real quick. Coach Prime, another win yesterday. He blew out Nebraska. They were 3.5-point favorites. They won by about 30 points. Did you watch the game?
I did. I watched the whole game. First half, they actually struggled. They struggled in the first half. It may not look like, but let me tell you, that was a tight game. I don't think there was any points scored until the second quarter. Both offenses were having some struggles. The defenses were actually playing a lot better than last week. But let me tell you, the second half, towards the end of the first half, they started stepping up. And in the second half, Shedeur Sanders just went off.
I mean, what it was 13-0, I think, at half. And then the turnovers by Nebraska, they were killing them. And then they just blew them out in the second half. And only Coach Prime could upstart of the NFL Sunday and lead with that. I mean, that's the biggest story in sports.
It is, and let me tell you, the Notre Dame game was starting at the same time. I never switched to the Notre Dame game. I just didn't care. It ended up going to a rain delay anyway, so I didn't have to watch. But I was just locked into to Colorado and the whole story, and just watching somebody shake it up. And that may be the future of how people do things. Is it going to be where people don't like it either? That the people might come in and gut programs now and change things, because these kids signed up. A lot of them, majority of them aren't like these guys who are going to be starters. They're just the grunt workers who put in the work and actually want to go to, say, Colorado or Nebraska or Notre Dame and don't plan on leaving. But all of a sudden, it's going to be different from now on. People are going to be almost, show up or see you later.
I don't know what they wanted them to do. They were 1-11. They were 1-11 last year. Do you want them to keep the same team? I mean, it was obviously a garbage team.
No, I think I love it. I love exactly what he's doing. I'm honestly all for it, because I've learned college football has gotten stagnant. It's gotten stale. It's been the same 5 teams that are involved, and it's nice to see teams like Alabama going down, or Clemson over here not being the team that they are. I mean, Georgia's just a powerhouse, but certain teams just right now, certain coaches that always had it no matter what, and once that tips a little bit and the recruiting goes in a different way, those programs are done. And they'll be good.
I hate Alabama. I hate all those Southern SEC schools.
I think it's the end of some of these teams.
You're calling for the end of Alabama?
No, the end of them going to national championships every year. I really believe for all those SEC is going to have a little bit. Georgia's got it. Let me tell you, Georgia's running over people.
Yeah.
But
they haven't played anybody yet.
Yeah, well, they never do until, but the teams are going to play. If Alabama's not Alabama, or if, Clemson's not quite Clemson, the teams that they're playing it's not that same schedule. It might look like it on paper, but it's not the same. You look at Kansas City Chiefs last week, and you're like, oh, they're playing the Lions. No big deal. No, it's not. The Lions aren't the Lions on paper anymore.
I was just going to say that enough college football, because it's Sunday and it's NFL Sunday.
Yeah, I know. Brett, I'm done. That's why I switched. We're good.
You got the first one right. What did you say yesterday?
Yeah,
you said they should win, and what happened was they did win, the Detroit Lions, that is. And the only question now is, do the Chiefs take the USC quarterback first, or do they trade the number 1 pick?
That's a good question. That's a good. They are in line. They are in line for the pick. Now the big question is: do you assign that defensive tackle to a deal and let him play? The guy's been holding out, and if you're the defensive tackle who's holding out, what's his name? Jones, I think.
Yeah, and they didn't have Kelsey either.
No, but like if you're that guy, what did you want to have happen? Did you want them to win? Did you want them to lose? Like, what do you want? He went to the game.
You want them to lose. You want them to lose. You don't say anything, but you want them to lose. Absolutely.
But how do you want?
It's going to get you a couple $1 million. It's only week 1. You could lose a game.
You don't want them to lose. Like, you want them to win, I think, but like 45-44.
Yeah,
right?
I
want to lose in a blowout. I'm telling you. Well, who is he rooting for?
He's rooting for exactly what happened. A 1 point loss.
He's rooting for cash. He's rooting for cash.
He's rooting he's rooting for exactly what happened. I think. Now, they, like I said, the Chiefs they basically thanked the Giants because they would drop balls all over the place. One led to a touchdown. You know, I don't think the Chiefs have anything to worry about. I think the Lions are probably a little better than we thought, or at least
I don't either.
thought.
But I don't either. But when you have that one loss early, and these 1 loss, 2 losses matters when it comes down to who the Chiefs are, and they're so used to going and having that first round bye and go. And let me tell you, it comes
helps
down
the
to
Jets.
It helps everybody else. You want the Chiefs. They don't have many of these where they lose these type of games. And the Lions, let me tell you, who knows what they're going to be? There's a whole bunch of question mark teams that, like, what are they going to be this year? Like the Lions, the Broncos. You know, you look at even the Browns, like, have a shot at being like a decent team. These are teams that they're so off the radar, you have no clue.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but I mean, listen, I expected the Chiefs to kill them. They're getting their rings, they're getting everything set up, and then to go in there and lose to the Lions because Arrowhead's a tough place to play.
I bet the underdogs. If there's any home dogs this week, bet them. Because week 1's just different. Offenses don't click the same way. Defenses tend to take over more than anybody else. Keep it low this week. Don't be looking at overs. I'm telling you.
Now, what I have running up and down the screen now is the weather forecast all over the country. There's a lot of rain. There's supposed to be rain here for the Giants tonight.
More under then. Keep it under.
It's unders anyway. It's a lot of times it's unders anyway because like you said, the offenses don't click.
But Vegas knows that as much as we know. We're talking like we know. Vegas is like, yeah, we got that already.
You're right.
It's already cooked in. Already cooked into the number.
You're right. You know, you're probably right. You're right. You're definitely right. Now, as far as the games today, there's 8 1 o'clock games. Then there's, I believe, 3 4 o'clock 4:25 games. There's also the men's U.S. Open final at 4 o'clock, right up against the 4 o'clock games, which is, of course, we said, ridiculous. And congratulations to Coco Golf winning last night. We'll get to that a little bit later. So there's 8 1 o'clock games. 1 o'clock, Sunday, 1 o'clock is the NFL as far as I'm concerned. That's where it's great. And then you get the witching hour from like 3 to like 4:30. And then you start the 4 o'clock games, and it's kind of a letdown. Now, some of the games we got today that I was looking at are San Francisco and Pittsburgh. I think this is a hard game to call. We picked this one later, but if you look at the keys to the game, I don't know why Pittsburgh is a 3.5 point underdog at home to San Francisco. I don't think San Francisco is as good. I know they made it to the championship game last year, but I just don't see it with them.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. I do think Bosa's playing. I'm not positive, but I thought I heard something this morning that he's playing. It really is Brock Purdy, was that like a one-off? Is there a sophomore slump coming from him? Is he like healthy enough? And is he really that good, or was it like last year a fluke? And honestly, it's the same thing with like Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh. Like they started showing some really good signs last year, but I think they just keep these games like close. Like San Francisco's 3.5. Like I said, home dogs. I would go home dog, even though I really do think San Francisco wins this by a touchdown. It's tough to pick a home to go against the home dog,
especially when it's Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh is notoriously good at home. They have a better coach. Their quarterbacks are, who knows with the quarterbacks. The defense is even.
But they're both question marks. One of these guys is going to be
question marks. And then you got Watt on one side and Bosa on the other. They kind of cancel each other out. So, you don't even, who knows what's going on with that. You also got the Bucks and the Vikings.
Yeah.
What you know that listen,
I'm,
the
I'm
Bucks
a
are bad.
guy. I'm a Kirk Cousins guy. Like I'm
you-
in now. Documentary. No, forget it. I already know how much work he's put in. I don't even need to look at it or ask him. The guy put in more work than anybody to prepare for this. And
He's
he's
got-
Justin Jefferson. I got Justin Jefferson for a touchdown in my round robin this week, so that's coming.
Justin Jefferson for a touchdown. I mean that's going to happen almost every game. He's the best receiver in the game.
I know. I already have it marked down in my thing as a done. So it's already accounted for. So our tennis buddy, Frank. Frank does the round robins with a few things, and
He did well. He did well with the tennis with
it's
the
like
women.
it's like a parlay when you lose the one end of a parlay, but this is where you win.
Yeah. I mean, now listen, I actually I wanted to tell you this. I had a buddy of mine at work last week came into work, and I was talking to him, and I was like, how about that Coach Prime? He goes, yeah, I won some money off it. I go, how much you bet on it? He goes, I put 1,000 on them. I said, on the money line or on the he said, on the money line. I said, what made you put $1,000 on a 20-point underdog? He goes, I was arguing with my brother that they were going to be good. And I said, you know what? I'm putting 1,000 on it. And he put 1,000. He walked away with 7,500.
Good for him. You know,
I mean, how great is that?
good to hear good stories. Good stories.
All right, so now let's get to the New York teams. Tonight we got the Giants and the Cowboys. Darren Waller is question mark for today. For tonight, they're saying hamstring. That some people are saying that he's going to be fine. That they're just putting him on the injured list, playing like a Belichick type of thing. Where Tom Brady was on the questionable list for 6 years. So I mean, I don't know if he doesn't play, the Giants are in trouble. If he plays, I think the Giants have to win this game. It's a home game. It's in the division. I think they have to win the game.
I don't think he plays. I don't think he plays.
You don't think he plays? Oh, I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. You don't think he plays?
Right, well, you thought Kansas City was going to win, so I don't believe anything you're saying anyway. So, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Listen, it's going to be a tough game, but they need him. Not only need him, they need him to be healthy and active, not just in the lineup.
And listen, it's important. Daniel Jones got to get this team into the end zone. No more field goals. He's got to stick it in the end zone when they're in the red zone. The Giants' defense, the secondary is always a little shaky. But
it's going to come down to Saquon Barkley. If he can get some 3, 4, 5 yard runs off, you don't have to go break off anything big. If you can make it where they have to put guys in the box to protect the run, Daniel Jones will have a day. If you give him the opportunity where he can go out and actually be able to use a little play action, have some open receivers, and not have it where they can just drop everybody and run a zone. Like if Saquon takes over, the Giants can win this game pretty handily. Cowboys are rough.
The 3.5 win underdogs.
I know that, but they have the tools to go off and win and score. They really do. I don't see it. I really think the Cowboys are going to come out and beat the Giants, not by much. I don't know if by 3.5, but
the Giants don't win. They don't win inside the division. They lose to them twice last year. They lost to the Eagles 3 times last year if you count the playoffs. The Redskins, I think they split with the Redskins last year, but the Redskins are terrible. I mean, the Eagles are still, I think, head and shoulders above both the Giants and the Cowboys. So I think it's kind of a race for a wild card. I don't think anybody's going to top the Eagles in this division.
No, and again, anything can happen. You're one injury away from the Eagles not being the Eagles, or the Giants or the Cowboys not being the teams they are. If any of those quarterbacks go down, not all of them are going to go through the season perfectly healthy. I'll tell you that much.
No, of course not. Nobody goes through the season perfectly healthy. It's just who gets hurt. Is it going to be your quarterback? Is it your running back, or is it just one of the guys in the secondary?
No, but it's really just you got to get these early wins. They're so important. They don't mean anything. They don't mean like you're guaranteed anything. You watch the Jets last year and having a lot of success early in the season, and they had to lose a lot of games to not make the playoffs down the stretch. But it puts you in such a good spot. Like Kansas City's behind the 8 ball right now. They're never like that. And you win that division game versus the Cowboys tonight, or the Jets beating the Bills on Monday night, and let me tell you, you feel really good about yourself.
Well, I disagree with that. I think that the week 1, and I'm going to do a segment next week, it's going to be your NFL week 1 overreaction. I think everybody overreacts. I'm not worried about the Chiefs at all. I think the losers
overreact. I think the losers overreact, but I think
teams.
it's a big impact on. No, I think the winners of week 1 is like you prove that all this effort you put in. See, I worked harder than the other. I'm telling you, you want to go in. You don't want to go in after you lose to the Cowboys back into that locker room, having to grind it out for a week, and knowing that if you drop week 2, you're 0-2. You got that first one under your belt. You're not searching for your first win. That win is so important. On the other end, for the losers, they can be like, it's just one, no big deal.
They
but for the winner, big deal.
They can, but that's not how it goes. Because on Tuesday, you're going to have half of the fan bases thinking they will never lose another game, and half of the fan bases thinking they will never win another game. And the sky is falling. I'm sure the sky is falling in Kansas City. They lost to the Lions. The Lions are terrible. The Lions.
When you're still holding on to the trophy, it's a little different. And when you didn't have Kelsey in and your other guys holding out, and there's pieces and reasons why, and you kind of gave up the game at a point.
And they didn't have two of their best players.
And they didn't get blown out. Like, it was like 35-7. Like, there was no point where that games like that can switch in a second where anybody could have won that game.
Yeah, but you know what? I thought did you think that Detroit should have punted the ball on that last drive instead of giving it back? I thought they played it the right, even though they didn't get a first down.
Yeah, that's right. We kind of talked about that when it happened. And I'm all for, get them as deep as possible to have to fight for that.
Listen, now the Jets, Brett. Now your Jets tomorrow. Aaron Rodgers, are they ready to become a winning team, a winning franchise? Are they good? What's going to go? How is this going to look tomorrow? Because to me, I think if the Jets can block for Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be hard for them to screw this up.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It all comes down to his offensive line, and guys play a little harder for Aaron Rodgers. You got to stay healthy, but they have some guys in Dwayne Brown, Mekhi Becton. It looks like everybody. I don't know if they're going to be 100% healthy, and like we talked about, it's one thing if they're playing, it's another thing if they're healthy enough to be effective. But if they can stay healthy, I'm telling you, that offensive line combined with their defense, their running game is so stacked. They got receivers everywhere. I don't think it's going to be some Aaron Rodgers throwing 5 touchdowns, like I said earlier. I think he's going to have a little bit of trouble early, making everything click. And there might be some rough drives where he doesn't connect the way that he should. But again, it's going to come back just like with the Giants. It's going to come down to the running game. And if Dalvin Cook's going off and Breece Hall's going off, and those guys are coming out of the backfield as check downs, and they can protect Aaron Rodgers when the blindside blitz comes in, I'm telling you, there could be massive, massive things. But it's going to come down to this defense holding Josh Allen in check, Stephon Diggs in check. And I'm telling you, I think the Jets win this game. I would take them by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, well, I agree with you there. I don't know about 2 touchdowns, but I do think the Jets win. And I do think the Bills are still relevant. Like, a lot of people don't. But I think the Jets are going to have one. They're going to have one of those running backs stay in to help block because their offensive line is not very good. But the one thing I noticed when I'm watching Hard Knocks is how impressed the coaches are. And, like, they're all watching in awe. And the players, like, the head coach is like, wow, you see this guy? He's great. With Aaron Rodgers, like, it's almost like they're, like, watching their hero.
I know.
The players coming up to him and meeting him and being like, oh, I used to watch you when I was a kid.
No, it reminds me so – it's so funny you said all this because it reminded me so much of high school. It reminded me of people being like, oh, I want to be around, like, the most important guy, like the athlete, or be like – they'd suck up to him. And it looked weird because these are all guys who were the best, and they've always been the best wherever they've played. Every guy has always been the best at every level. This is the only level they were not the best. Some of them still are. But it's weird to see they were the guys that everybody sucked up to.
Yeah, of
Every
course.
one of the guys is the guys that people sucked up to their whole lives, and now they turn probably for the first time in their lives. Yeah, they probably did it in college when they came in as freshmen about certain guys, but not on this level. This is like the world knows these guys. This isn't like someone in the SEC or ACC knows these guys.
Like,
let me tell you, they're fucking up like I've never seen it. I don't like that. That's why I've said from the beginning, year one's going to be not all like perfect stuff with them. Year 2, when it gels, it's very hard for these teams to gel. And right now, there's a lot of yes guys and a lot of people who are just telling him what he wants to hear. And I think they're just trying to fit in more than we're going to see if it clicks. This has nothing to do with if it clicks or not, but it's the dynamic's not there yet.
It's just weird because some of the conversations he was having, like with some of it, one of his wide receivers, I forget which one, walked up to him, it was the conversation that like I feel like I would have with Aaron Rodgers if I went to and paid $50 for an autograph when I got up to the table. He's like, "Oh man, I'm a big fan. I watched you as a kid. I had your jersey. Big fan, big fan. Can you sign that? Can you put my name on that to you know?" It was like that, and that's weird. And then he's going catching passes from him.
No, and it's just like he said a joke and it wasn't funny, and the guy was like, ah, and I was like, no, you know, that's like it was cool. Like that's not what he's looking for. It just looks weird. But
it's like they're talking to the hot girl.
It was exactly what it was. He could have said anything in the world, and they were gonna laugh their ass off.
The illusionist was pretty cool. The guy they had in there, the illusionist was pretty cool. They always throw something like that.
They did. No, they did all right. It wasn't terrible.
Now the Jets start out. The Jets they don't have an easy schedule. New England's really their only easy game in the first 5 weeks. I think they got Dallas in there. They got Miami in there. Now, I'm not a big believer in Miami. I think Miami's the second best team in that division, but I don't think that. I think if the Jets can block for Aaron Rodgers, it's very hard for them to screw up. Like I said, they can run away with this division.
I think Tua is another one that like I have a very hard time, like, of him proving himself. Not even without even the concussions. That's like a whole different thing of like, can he even stay going? But he's gonna have to prove it to me this year that he can do it. When he was healthy, he seemed to be really good. And Tyreek Hill, no matter who's throwing it to him, if he gets the ball in his hands, that guy is just electric. They look like they're gonna be decent, but it's all gonna come around. Can their offensive line protect Tua, and can his new jiu-jitsu moves make everything okay? He got to use how much jiu-jitsu does he need this year?
Probably how many concussions? How many concussions is he gonna get? He's only like 1 or 2 concussions away from never playing again.
Jiu-jitsu experts don't get concussions. They just it's not possible.
Now, Brett, on Sunday, 1 o'clock, we're about an hour away, 2 hours away. On Sunday, how do you watch the games? Are you I'm flipping between the local games that are on. Are you a Red Zone channel guy? What do you have the Sunday ticket?
You want to know what's sick? I've worked like every Sunday for the last 10 years. And I now, like, today is like the day where I get to just sit and enjoy Sunday. Yeah, I've had a few, but typically I take off and I had something to do. So I will be watching. Typically, I like it when it's Jets and Giants, and I can watch the Jets game, the Giants game. But I'm going to have
back and forth.
I'm going to no, it would just be all Jets pretty much at that point. But now at this point, it's going to be laptop and phone and extra stuff. And like, yeah, I'm going to be on the good games. Like today, more than ever, it's going to be like on all the good ones.
See, I watch Red Zone basically from 1 o'clock till 8 o'clock. Because it's not just Red Zone. It's not just when the team's in the Red Zone. One, I think the guy is that does the cable version of Red Zone is the best in the business. Chris Hansen, I think that's his name. Chris Hansen he's the best. He's hands down the best in the business. And what he does, it's such a hard thing to do.
Does he go in and
he has cookies? He has cookies. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Is this the same Chris Hansen?
No, it's a different Chris Hansen. But he's just as good as the guy in the house with the kids.
Listen,
but I'm telling you, it's unbelievable how great it is. But anyway, that's how I watch it. I'll watch it because they go from game to game to game. And then at the 4 o'clock games, if you only have like 2 games, they just flip back and forth. So you get the whole game. You basically get both games. And I love the Red Zone.
NFL Red Zone's YouTube this year.
No.
Right?
No. NFL Red Zone, there's 2 NFL Red Zones is what there is. There's an NFL Red Zone that is part of the Sunday ticket. That is somebody else. That's not Chris Hansen. I forget the guy's name. So it's a different Red Zone channel. Then there's that was the original Red Zone that came with the ticket. Now, about 10 years ago, they added an additional cable Red Zone, and it's on cable, and it's the best thing. You watch the whole game, and they show every big play in every game, and it's every touchdown from every game, and it's really for fantasy players, so they can keep up with what's going on.
I would never get it because I was always working. I would never get it because I'm always working. But right now, like in the next hour, I'm signing up for whatever it is.
You don't have to sign up. You have it on your television. Do you have NFL Network?
Yeah.
Then you get it. You have it. It's one channel up from NFL Network, and it's the best thing. I watch it all day. Now, the dirty little secret with the NFL Red Zone is it's not live. It's not like it's off a little bit.
Oh,
it's
right.
Off a little,
So
like maybe a minute or so because they.
I was talking about I was talking about where you can watch any single game on
Oh, that's the Sunday ticket. That you get.
That's
That's going to cost you a couple $100.
Right. Yeah. No. We're gonna see.
Money's no object.
Money is a definite object. Why that is
couple $100
I don't know,
though.
but I'm asking you. No, now with the NFL Red Zone,
I'm telling you, save you
That's all I
$200. Save you $200 and go watch the NFL Red Zone. Because as much as that's
all my
delayed,
NFL games in jail the last 10 years.
and as much as it's delayed a little bit, maybe 30 seconds on the NFL Red Zone, YouTube is going to be so much worse. I'm telling you, YouTube's going to have glitches and it's going to be lagging and it's going to be terrible. So
That's
now,
fine.
Brett, we're going to do our picks in a second. We have to come up with something that the loser of the picks has to do. My buddy Mark Mancini, he's also going to be in the picks. He didn't send them to me this week. I'm going to yell at him about that. But we got to pick something between the three of us that the loser has to do. That's just, straight embarrassing, but borderline getting arrested for something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
No, we get better than that. Like, does he play golf? Is he a golf guy?
He might be a golf guy. He's out in California right now, so he's not playing golf with us, I don't think.
I was gonna say loser caddies for the winners.
That's actually not a bad one. That's not a bad one. But
Pretty good, right?
We're gonna by next week we got to come up with something.
Something in that realm of nothing too bad, but
That's not really borderline getting arrested.
Well, you haven't been on the course with us enough. Come on out, Mark.
All right, so we're gonna pick 5 games a week, random games that I will choose, just because I'm running this thing, so I'm gonna choose them. So the first game we got is Pittsburgh and San Francisco. Now we already said, I believe we already picked it, but Brett, who do you like in this one?
I already picked it. I put San Francisco. I'm taking San Francisco.
Okay, I'm taking Pittsburgh. I'm taking Pittsburgh because I'm getting the points. I think it's going to be closer. I don't know if Pittsburgh wins it outright. I think they do win it outright, but if I was betting, I'm definitely taking the points. The 3.5 points, is it? Or 2.5 points?
You might be right. This is what I always say. Like, I'll start and be like, no, listen, take the home dogs. Then I won't take the home dogs. The home dog will win today.
So now the next one, we got the Battle of Ohio. It is the Browns hosting the Bengals. Bengals are a 1.5 underdog. I'm sorry, Bengals are favored by a 1.5.
Yeah.
And Brett, we both like the Bengals.
Yeah, we do, but let me tell you, you know how many times Joey Burrow's won in Cleveland? 0.
Yeah,
0-2.
You know how many times
0-2.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I was gonna say the Chiefs won their 5 starts with Mahomes.
It's a tough place to play, and let me tell you, Deshaun Watson's going to be a little bit more. I'm picking against myself at this point. Yeah, like telling you all the reason I shouldn't have picked them. But Deshaun Watson in his second year with a totally different offense that's more catered towards him, they are a team to watch this year. Nobody's talking about him. Nothing's going on. Let me tell you, Cleveland's going to be pretty good.
He's gonna be better, just because you can't be worse. Really, he was no good last year.
Well, it
feels like he was stealing money.
That's the Russell Wilson thing too. That's exactly what's going to happen this year because they're another one. One of those two teams is actually going to be decent, whereas the other one, I think Russell Wilson is going to continue to be terrible. I truly believe that. Him and Sean Payton hate each other, just fights the whole year, and then Russell Wilson's going to go wherever he's going next.
You think Russell? I happen to agree with you. I think he might be getting old. He's old now, right? He's got to be in his 30s.
Did you hear what he's been saying about him? He was like, you got to stop kissing babies. Like, he wants to go out and be like a community leader and do whatever. But that's a guy who's saying you're putting too much effort into other things that aren't football.
So you're
not here.
Okay.
That's what I
think
see.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson has a bounce back year.
I think Deshaun Watson has a bounce back year for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now the
I don't
third
think
game
he used to be, but he's.
Yeah, but that's what they paid him. They're paying him all this money.
No, he's never going to be that. No, he's not. You got to find guys who are going to be that. You only get a short window. If that window stays open and it closes, you'll be good the rest of your career. But you go look at like the Michael Vicks and whatever. When that window slams, it slams shut, and can be a good, accurate quarterback who can stand up in the pocket and get around. But you're never going to put up to those levels. There's a reason behind it. Let me tell you, you lose it. A couple of years out, he lost it.
Now that's what I'm saying. The question is, did the window shut, or
no?
Was he rusty because he sat out a year?
There's that next level. I don't think you'll ever get there. You'll get somewhere somewhat close, like where you go and you have better seasons than most guys ever have, even similar to like Mahomes seasons or Lamar Jackson seasons. But he's not gonna go and just be absolutely where nobody can stop him and he can't be touched and everything's I just don't. I don't see that happening after the layoff he's had. He's gonna be far above any NFL quarterbacks that they have outside of the Burrows and Mahomes, and he's even going to be probably as good as like Josh Allen. But
so now the third game we chose, Brett's going with our buddy. It is the Tennessee Titans and the New Orleans Saints. Saints are a 3-point favorite at home. I think this is going to be a tight game. I took the Titans because I'm getting the points. I think it's going to be a field goal game. Brett, you went with
I believe in Derek Carr.
What? What'd you say?
Derek Carr.
You believe in Derek Carr?
Yeah.
So you were okay with the Jets getting him?
I was okay. Listen, if that didn't work out, Derek Carr or Jimmy G, I think the Jets would have made the playoffs this year with either one.
I don't think Derek Carr is very good, to be honest with you. I don't think he's very good. I don't think he's ever been very good. He was the number one pick. He was never good on the Raiders. He wasn't very good on Houston. They never won anything. He's been a disappointment.
What are the Titans doing outside of Derrick Henry this
year? 2 years ago, the Titans went to the championship game.
Yeah, I know. And then, that's not the NFL is very, it doesn't work that well anymore. You gotta. Have they found a quarterback yet? Because their biggest thing was they couldn't throw the ball ever, and they just ran it every single time, and that worked out fine.
They worked out fine into the ground
until you got up against a team that puts up 35, and you got to score 35, and you go, wait a minute. We can't score 35 just running the ball all game. We can score 25, 30, but they couldn't keep up.
All right, so now we pick the two local teams. That's what we're going to do. It's going to be 3 games, random games, and then the 2 local teams, Jets and Giants. And tonight, 8 o'clock, NBC, MetLife Stadium, Giants, Cowboys. There'll be a ton of Cowboy fans in the building. There always are. Brett, I'm upset with you on this one. I really am. I mean, if you're going with the Cowboys, you're laying the points. You're laying 3.5.
3.5.
That hook is going to get you too, baby, because that's a 3-point game.
No, I think 3 points would be a push, I think, in this game. So I'm probably going to lose by about 0.5 point. But I feel bad because the Giants are going to lose on that buzzer beater kick, and that's going to be rough to take because you're going to be in it the whole game, and you guys are going to have, but you just couldn't hold them enough at that last second, and that kick's going to get the Giants, and it's going to get me.
That's what I'm saying. They better not lose because this is a big game for the Giants. It's a division game right off the bat. I don't
root against the Giants. Honestly, I don't even care. I don't even know what I would put my physical bet in. Like I might put a bet in, but I had to get this one against the Giants fans this week. I can't have you have all of them.
Brett, we need you to take these picks seriously, all right? If you put money on this game now, it has to be on the Cowboys. Don't go putting money on the Giants.
All right, then done. It
means you're not taking it seriously. Put your money where your mouth is. You're here in public telling us the Cowboys minus 3.5. Put your damn money on the Cowboys.
I can. It doesn't even matter. I'm looking up at a screen that says you picked the Giants, so I can guarantee you that I made the right pick.
And finally, we got tomorrow night, Monday night, Spectrum customers. A lot of New York won't see it. What do you think about the fact that there's gonna be less people watching the Jets? Well, it's gonna be the same people because nobody getting the ESPN with the tennis today or anything. I don't get to see the Jets game. Half of the people in New York City don't get to see the Jets game.
Nobody cares. Cable companies don't care at all.
No, because the cable companies don't care because they don't have the money anymore.
You know what it is?
Spectrum doesn't have the money to pay them because they're going out of business. Nobody has cable anymore.
And it's only like one game a week, so it's not like baseball. If it was the Yankees and they played every night, and that's all people do, whether or not you sit and watch it, you turn it on, and it's on. Like I'm telling you, tens of thousands of TVs across the city, always hundreds of thousands have the Yankees on or the Mets on any given night. When that happens, and it's every night, but this once a week for a couple hours, they don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
separately, they're like, no, we'll wait it out, and it'll be, but it's just ridiculous. People arguing over billions of dollars, and who's going to make this, and we're sitting at home not being able to watch games is just so ludicrous.
That's what I'm saying. We're the losers in this. We're the losers, and I'm paying $250 a month to not see the U.S. Open, to not see the college football games, to not see the Jets on Monday night, and I've already said to my wife, I was already like, I think we should just switch out of the cable.
Telling you, I think you're right. Listen, I'm the same way. And what they don't realize is if people this week do switch and go and stream this on, which they will, like there's not everybody, but there's like 30-40% that are going to go and do it. The hardcore fans are going to do it, and they get comfortable, and they say they didn't notice a difference. They're not going back. Some
No,
of
they're
them are
not
only
going.
to watch football. Some of them are only hanging on. Like half these people, like there's no reason for it. Even if you don't have TV, you can still have every channel where it looks like regular TV.
The problem is they black out the local games in a lot of these sports. Like I don't know, like I guess you'd be able to get the Jet game, but like when when basketball starts and hockey,
you can still just subscribe to like CBS. Like CBS is on. Like you can get regular CBS. You can get regular NBC. Like that stuff's all free.
You're right. You can use the antenna and get those things.
Free. ESPN, you can just buy the service for ESPN Plus for like nothing. NFL stuff, you can go buy your package. Let me tell you, $100. That's half your month's bill. $150 for some, I'm telling you. All it is that people don't realize someone's got to simplify it so simple where you literally turn a TV on and you're just on your regular channels where it looks the same, but it's the internet. And I'm telling you, it's over. We got to get the older people involved. That's the only thing holding on. It's every old person in the country.
Yeah, because they don't want to do the streaming thing.
We're included.
It's like my father. He's still writing checks. He's like, I don't understand. Where's your checkbook?
He's
I
advanced.
gotta have a checkbook, but it's
you know what I'm dealing with? I'm paying straight cash. I literally had to like go down and take $400 in cash and go to some random insurance company. Like, yeah, he just hands $400 bills for the insurance. I was like, I'm paying for his like, are you guys crazy?
Yeah, because he's got none, right? He doesn't do anything online.
1 out of every 30 days, you spend the whole day just dropping off money.
I'm telling you,
that's it's a whole day's work.
My father was sitting there one day. It was a couple of years ago, even now, like probably years ago, and he's like, "Is that thunder out by you? Or is that by me? It's thunder in here."
That's Buddy.
And he's sitting at the table, and he's writing. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Balancing my checkbook." I'm like, "Well, you don't have to balance it. Like the computer tells you how much you have left when the check comes out. Like, you don't write checks anymore. When was like I write a check, I think once a month for the rent, and that's it. That's the only check I write."
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And there's a handful of things that's great. You have to, but even those typically you don't even have to write the check. You just, like you can go online.
Both of it. I remember my mom writing checks at the supermarket.
Of course. You had to give your ID and trust you.
They trusted you.
They didn't. They were like, no, ma'am, bad checks.
They did. They trusted you. That's funny that you even said that. So, okay. So now just quickly, yesterday, Coco Gauff, U.S. Open champion. I called it. She dropped the first set, 6-2, and I thought she was going to be in trouble. She came back. She fought back. She's the fourth American teenage girl, the first since Serena, to win to be U.S. Open champion. I mean, listen, that's big. That's big for her.
They dropped that first set, but when she settled in, she dominated the second and third set.
She did. She dominated.
Dominated. I'm telling you, and it was just so good to watch. And just see her after, and she's on her knees, and a U.S. woman winning the U.S. Open, sitting in Flushing, and the place is going crazy with everybody there. She goes up into the stands with her family, and they're hugging and kissing and crying. Let me tell you, that's someone who was just. It was so great to watch. It was so great to see.
I didn't get to see it, Brett, because I have Spectrum.
Oh, well, let me tell you more about it. Anyway, it was wonderful to see in person live with my eyes.
So now today, nobody's going to be watching, but it will be on. And I have my cousin Jay, who works at ESPN. I have him on the case now. He's asking the people that be at ESPN, because he's been there like 20, 30 years, so he's got all the connections. He's working. He's going to ask them. He thinks it's the USTA that demands that this game be played 4:00 today. That match be played 4:00 today. Because I'm telling him, I'm like, what are you doing over there at ESPN? Like, how could you possibly? They know what the NFL is. They know how big the NFL is. They know they're not going to get any viewership.
ESPN wouldn't do it like that.
No, because I said because I called it the dumbest programming decision every year.
If you're going to do it that way, you want it on separate days for whatever reason, which you shouldn't. They want full pageantry. They want everything to be separate for each one, which I think you can pull it off either way. The only other resolution would be just put it up against the night game.
That's what I'm saying, because now, okay.
Put it up against the night game at least,
Some
and then
people
you at
are
least
footballed out. Some people
only
are
have two.
footballed out by 8
You
o'clock.
you cut 2 cities out, and the rest ever, it's.
Not necessarily. A lot of people watch the night game, and it's usually a
No,
good
you're
game.
right, but at least I'm talking. You're losing the entire city for 2 cities.
Yes, but there are people who by 8 o'clock on Sunday night get footballed out. So maybe you might switch it over, because that's why that song for the Sunday night is the most ridiculous thing. Waiting all day for Sunday night. No, you're not. You're watching the games all day. You don't even think about Sunday night until the Giants play this Sunday night. I won't think about it until probably 7:30.
Eating all day. I'm trying all night to stay up past halftime.
yeah, I usually don't make it either. I'm actually going to work
No
tonight.
way. I don't even bet the whole game. I only bet first half for the 8 o'clock games.
That's
and
funny.
I'm like,
All
that's
right.
it. That's my whole game.
Yeah, listen, it's 8:20, and it starts so late. Those games, listen to us, we're old men. I'm like, that game ends at
Just at work,
11:30.
it would be fun. I'd actually see the end, but now I'm like, forget it.
Yeah, now I get to work. By the time I get settled in, it's fourth quarter, and I missed most of the game.
Don't you
So
hate that Jets and Giants aren't playing at 1 and 4? Would have been so nice.
yeah, listen. 1 o'clock Sunday is my favorite.
No.
It is the NFL, but
Monday now I gotta wait a whole other day. But at least tomorrow I get to wake up and it's all gonna be like Jets Bills coverage. It's gonna be like
yeah.
all.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's gonna be all these games from today. Coverage.
Yeah, but there's gonna be all reports on Jets Bills. It's on ESPN. It's a whole deal.
Now ESPN has. Now, are you gonna watch? Do you watch the Manning cast?
Yeah, I do. Like I'll flip to it for a little bit.
Did you see they did the
Well, I can't watch the whole thing. I watched it yesterday. The Pat McAfee, him just sitting on the side.
I didn't see it. I was out to dinner.
You don't even watch the game. It's just them on the sidelines.
It was terrible. Was it terrible? It looked terrible.
It's not bad. It's funny to watch for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? But like, if someone turns that on and watches for 3 hours a game, like it's just odd.
But ESPN is like, they're like when I was like a kid, right? A kid finds something he likes, a piece of candy he likes. That's all he eats.
Yeah,
That's all he eats. So what happened was the Manning cast worked because the Mannings are funny, and then they went with K and A-Rod. And
Worse.
that's not good. It's terrible.
No.
Now they're trying with Pat McAfee because they just gave him a boatload of money to have his podcast on. I heard we were gonna get it if it wasn't him. I heard it was gonna be our show.
Yeah, it was close. But no, they're smart with him because not for us, because I don't think it's cool. Like I'm not into the whole, the sideline stuff. No, he's not bad. I don't mind him at all. It's just not the involved in a game like Manning cast style. But no, you're exactly right. They're fully into that, and they're going to make actually money off of that. People watch him. Like people are watching him.
They better hope so. They're giving him a lot of money. And
you lost money on K and A-Rod. Nobody cares about them.
Yeah, but those K and A-Rod were already employees.
No, I know, but they're not gaining you any. Nobody's like, oh my God, this is so exciting to watch. Like, whereas people watch McAfee even if they don't care about football.
Yeah, I guess. All right, so that's going to do it for us. NFL Sunday. We are right about 15 minutes from kickoff. You should be about now. Giants tonight, 8 o'clock. Jets tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Monday Night Football. Everybody, Brett, enjoy the games. Check out that Red Zone, Brett. Check it out.
I am. I'm all over it. I'm going to learn a lot today. Excited.
First time watching football, right? All right, so that does it for us. We'll be back later in the week on Tuesday. We'll be a couple shows this week. I'll update you all.
Go Jets. Let's go Jets.
From Brett Grasso, I'm Bob Walters from the Brian Gunzel Studios. Enjoy the games, everybody. See ya.